book.js file. Come to the book.js file. In book.js file, you need to import this two. Use dispatch and use selector. Now why we are importing the use dispatch and use selector? Using use dispatch, we can send the data. Use dispatch. It will send the data to a store. One line you can write, and here use selector will fetch data from a store. You can add this two line. Use selector will help you to bring the data. Use dispatch will help you to send the data. Okay, next after that, this fundamental we are already aware of. We have to create a constant. For what purpose? To pick the value of text box. So we have made here, we have created a constant book name, pick name to take the value of text box. After that, we gone to the text box and we wrote here on change object of pick name, object of target dot value. Even we have written value equal to book name so that it should become clear. Next, after that, there is a function called save function. We are calling on button click. Save function we are calling on button click, but under the save function we have done something else. See, usually on click you will do like this. On click what we'll do? We'll go here. On click we have called earlier save function directly. On button click earlier we used to call the save function directly this way, save function. But when we used to call like this, it was directly we have called the component, and component was doing something, either it will send the data to API or it will do something that was happening under the component level. But now it is not only on component level, it is on the next level. Component has to communicate with the Redux. So to communicate with the Redux, as you have written here, use dispatch for what purpose? Send the data to a store. Use dispatch is sending the data to a store. Now look down. Use dispatch function we cannot call directly. We have to create an object of use dispatch function. So we created here one object of use dispatch function. Every time this process is required, you have to create an object of use dispatch function. Right? You can see here we are calling use dispatch function. For that object is ready. Even we have discussed using dispatch function, we will be dispatching the action to where? A store. Using dispatch function, we will be dispatching the action to a store where our reducer will be sitting inside, and reducer will take care of managing your value. Okay, reducer will take care of managing your value. Now how it will happen? Let's come down. First, you can see under the save function, you have created one object. that is holding type as a new book and name equal to what? Book name. So this becomes an object, and whenever we call the save function will return a object info. It will hold a type as a new book and name as a book name. Type as a new book and name as a book name. Come down below. When we are calling the save function, we cannot call the save function directly. We have to call this dispatch function. Dispatch function, because this info we have to send to the reducer. Wherever your reducer is sitting, under the reducer you have to send this info variable. To the reducer you have to send this info variable. So how to send? Look at here. We will go to the button. Under the button, you will call this like use effect. You will write here dispatch. Under the dispatch, you will call, under the dispatch we have to send the object. Under the dispatch function we have to send the object action and value. Action and value. See the first, what is under the info? First is action and second is value. Action and value both are there. Action and value. So we will call the save function here directly. We will call the save function here directly. So save function will return the info variable. Save function will return the info variable that will hold the action and value both. Action and value both. This is just to send the data. From here you are going to send the data to a store. Right? From here we are sending the data to a store. It is simple, not very difficult. You have to, every time you have to create an object like this where you have to define the type of action and the value for the action, input for the action. So name becomes a input and new book becomes a type of action. This function is a function with it. And using dispatch function, you will create an object of the dispatch, and under the dispatch, you have to call the save function, so that save function will return this info as an object, and after that, info as an object, after that, this data will get passed. Now come down. In this file, so check now, any error or no error. Hope there should not be any error. No error. Come next. This is, we are sending the data. Now how to fetch the data? That is also matter. We have to fetch the data also. So go here. Const all book equal to use selector under the use selector you will call the state. So use selector is responsible to bring the data from the store. Now inside the store your all the data is kept inside the state, but under the state there are multiple functions where that come from. If you look into your, look at here first. So right here, all book equal to use store, use selector inside we pass as a state. Directly we cannot pass a state. I will show you first. Go to your book reducer. Look under the book reducer. What is your function name? Function name is book list. In that B is capital. If L is capital, then you will call the L capital. If L is small, you will call the L as a small. So in my case, book list L is capital. If your book list L is small, you can call it as. Let's come here. State at arrow. State dot Check in your case, L is small or capital. If L is small, under the book reducer file, you will call L as a small. If L is capital, you will call L as a capital. You will check under which file? Book reducer dot JS file. Okay. Now, after saving that, come down. So this line is fetching the data from the store. It's data from store. It is not very difficult. While sending the data, how you are sending? You are sending in the form of object. While fetching the data, what you call? You call your reducer name. That is your function name. This function name will return the content in the form of array. That array will come and store under the all book. Now come down. Before table, use a p tag. Before table, use a p tag, and under the p tag, display the total books. All book dot length. All book dot length. Book written. All book dot length. Save the file. What is the length? Let me know in the chat. 0 or more than 0. 2%, 3% said something. Let's wait for other people also. Okay, 10, 12 people replied. For everyone, 0, 0, 0. Okay, cool then. You are on the track. Okay, let's go. Now see here. In this array, what are the things you are sending? Two things you are sending, type as well as name. So I suggest you copy this line. You can copy this line completely. Don't click as of now anywhere. Just copy this line. Okay, copy this line. After that, come to your reducer. Which reducer? Book reducer. In book reducer, look at here. You are sending the data in this object only, info. Info will come, info will assign to action. Let me write here. Action equal to this info. Action equal to info. So under info, what we have? Type as well as name. Two things we have, type as well as name. So let us go here. Check now. Write a if condition. If action dot type. Inside action, what is coming? Type equal to new book. New book. Hope you can modify accordingly. Yesterday, some people have written the code. You have written as a new only. You let it be new. Then you have to pass only new. If you are passing new book, you have to modify your new book. Now, then under the old state array, old state array dot push action dot name. Old state array dot push action dot name. Old state array dot push action dot name. Here you pass name as a what? Book name. Under book name, what will come? Some value will come. So your action file and not action file, your reducer file will check what input is coming from user. So from user, input is coming in the form of action, whereas one is the type of action and another one is the value for the action, input for the action. So it will check here if action type is new book, no problem. Take the name of the book and after that push inside the array. After writing this line, check any error. Hope there should not be any error. Hope spelling mistake we are not doing. Error is not there. Now you will enter any value here. HTML. Click on save button. Number should increase. Number is increasing. CSS. Number is increasing. JS. Number is increasing. Boot. Number is increasing. Check now. This number is increasing or not. Let me know after clicking on save button. After entering the value, the number get increased or not. Length. This value are passing to the store. Okay, when you enter the value, click on save button. Value is passing to a store. Value is going to store. And if the value is going to store, the second line is able to fetch the data from a store. Then only we are getting the length. Okay. Now let me show you how many records you have here. Total 4 are there. I have total 4. If I go to the user component and come back to the book component again, I can see the 4 is remain same. Click on some other link and come back to the same page. You will find the 4 length remain same. Why? Because in Redux, your data is not storing under the component. Data is going to where? Store somewhere. So if you leave the component, if you go from one component to other component, come back to the same component, no problem. Your data remains same. Why? Because data is not in the component. Data is available out of the component. When we are saving the data, we are sending the data to the out of the component. When we are fetching the data, we are fetching the data out from the component. If the data will be within the component, it will get loose. See, I went here, and I come back. my length remain same. That meaning data is storing where? Not inside the store, it is storing out of the, sorry, not storing inside the component, it is storing out of the component. Now come, we have to list it in book.js file. Callbook.map, name of the book, index of book. Return here cd index, next td name, next td one button, is equal to, okay, we'll do something on click, that is the next work. Save now. Whichever the item you have entered, that should come under the list. List should appear. Say, whichever we add here, those all list will appear here. Go to other component and come back, you will see your data will be there only. Click now, list is happening. Okay, so save and list should happen. Now we'll work for the delete. Anyone who's getting error? I will share you this function. You can use this many. Replace these lines. Then from the book reducer, I will share you this 3 line. Replace that. Upper section belong to book. Last line belong to reducer. Then it should work. Okay. Next, we will write a delete function here. See, earlier this function was working here only. Save function was pushing inside the array. Delete function was doing a splice from array. But you are not doing here now. You are doing where? Under the reducer. Reducer. Okay. Why inside the reducer? Because the reducer is dealing with the store directly. Const delete book index equal to info equal to type delete, comma book index was the index. Next, after that, return info. So this become the delete functionality. So delete you are not doing here. Okay, delete you are going to do under the reducer file. Just from the delete function, you are sending what is the action and what is the input. So action type is delete and input is book index. Action type is delete and input is book index. Okay, hope ready. Now come down. On delete button click, we have to call this function. On the click of delete button, we need to call this function. Let me share this delete book function. Delete book function came in your chat. The delete book we have to dispatch from here. Once you click on delete book, we have to send another action. See, when you click of say book, you are dispatching the action where type equal to new book, name equal to book name. When you are clicking on delete button, you are returning an object type equal to delete and book index equal to what? Index. That is 0, 1, 2, 3. Now come down, on button click. Here we have a button, on click. on click equal to we will call here not delete book directly. Earlier what you used to call? Earlier we used to call delete book dot bind under the plain Redux. What React what we do? Delete book dot bind, where we used to pass this comma index. This one was the structure, but it was helping you to delete the data within the component. But now your data is not inside the component. Your data is where? Somewhere else. Your data is out of the component. Okay, so if the data is out of the component, how to delete that? So for that, we cannot call the delete function here directly. Okay, we will not call the delete function directly. We have to dispatch the action from here. Okay, so again, go here and call the dispatch dispatch, and under the dispatch, now you have to call the delete book function. Delete book function. Under the delete book function, we can pass here simple index. No need to pass bind and all. Simple you pass here again index. With Redux, you don't need to use the bind function. Directly you can pass. If it is using the Redux, using the React, then bind function is required. You can call this dispatch delete book. What we are passing inside? We are passing as a action. Pass action. Right? Hope we called. What we called? Dispatch with which function? Delete book. Under delete book, what we are passing? 0, 1, 2, 3. Depends. Let's go ahead. I will share this delete book function in your chat. Okay. Next, after this, look at here. What are action you are passing? You can copy this line again, just for reference. Type equal to delete, and after that, book index equal to what? Index. You can copy this line and go to the reducer file, book reducer. In book reducer, for example, in the last, I will paste this again. Paste this again. Now see, what are that you are passing from there? One we have called type equal to what? And then book index equal to what? Index. So we are passing the action and input, action and value, action and value. We can write another if condition. If action dot type double equal to delete, because what you are type passing here, type equal to delete, action dot type equal to delete, then you have to call old state, that array name, old state array dot splice. Inside you have to pass book index, which book you want to delete. That is coming under the action dot book index. dot book index, and again you have to pass 1 because you are trying to delete the element. So for deleting purpose, 1 is required. Save it now. You will refresh the page, enter some new book and click on delete button. Once you enter the new book, it will come under the list. If you delete from there, it will go from the list. User current. Check now. Save and delete is happening. I'll go here. Let me reload my page. Save list delete is happening. That is okay, but understanding is required how data is coming. Let me go here. Suppose I wrote HTML. Click on save button. Coming here. I will go to other component and come back. My data remains same. My data remains same. CSS I added. Click on send to store. Came here. Go to other component. Come back. Data remains same because your data is not storing under the component. It is storing out of the component. So if you go to other component and come back also, no problem. The data will remain same. Okay. JavaScript. PSP. Node. Correct. Now these data are stored. I go to other component, come back to this component, no problem. Data remain same. Go to other component, come back to this component, no problem. Data remain same. Delete anyone, it's going also. Right? Happening. Now the same data, which data you have stored here, in which component? Under the book component. Same data we can access under this component also. Which component? All.js. All.js is working? Not working. You should add a routing. No? Check now. For how many people error? See, if you go to other component and come back to this component, data remains same. That is the feature of Redux. Redux says if you store the data within the component directly under the state, if you go to other component and come back, your component will lose the data. But if you are using the Redux, if you store the data and go to other component and come back, you will not lose the data. Why? Because your content data is not within the component. It is storing out of the component. Where? Under the store. So when you have entered the value, your data gone to a store, not available in the component. When you are fetching the data, your data is coming from the component, coming from the store. So you send the data now. After 2 minutes, go to other component, be there for some time, again come back. So your data will come back again. Why? Because it is not within the component. It is out of the component. Like it's storing in the ground. From go down, you can send and receive anytime till you will not erase your data. Okay, so I will share you this file, reducer and book2 file. Let's use it if you have error. And then again, book reducer and book.js file. This both I'm sending in the chat. We will sit again 2 hours more tomorrow to complete that Redux part. Some pending work we have from the React side, that React project work we have something pending. Let's complete this part.